Hello, welcome to IETV. My name's Gavin Adamson. I'm with Investment Executive, and with me here today, it's my pleasure to welcome Kevin Regan, who is Executive VP of Financial Services at Investors Group.
Yes.
Welcome, Kevin.
Oh, nice to be here.
Kevin, we're actually at your offices. You're normally based in Winnipeg.
That's right.
So I'm glad we had the chance to do this.
Yeah.
As you know, you've done well in the survey this year. You sort of bucked the trend. Scores were down all over the place. So congratulations for that.
Oh, thank you.
You're top among the full-service dealer firms. Can you give me an idea generally of why things have gone well for you guys this year?
Sure. I think it's a matter of kind of us sticking to our knitting, frankly. Whether you had tough markets like we went through in 2008, 2009, or the relatively clearer skies of today, we've tended over time to make investments in our support structures for our advisors. It's one of the things that we've always held out as being an important part of being with Investors Group, and I think it's the dividends being paid now to us for our continuous investment in those structures.
Okay, some of the places where you scored particularly well are on the product side, mutual fund research, fixed income, overall product kind of spectrum,
sure.
Those sorts of things. Can you account for that? What have you guys done well in that
Yeah,
sense?
it's not that we've made a whole bunch of changes to the shelf. We've added some product, as we constantly do. We're always looking at what's available, what's necessary in light of the emerging needs of our clients and the emerging expectations of our advisors. So as an example, in the tough market that we just went through, we actually introduced a product called our Cornerstone Portfolios, which is basically a way people were at one point looking for, well, how do I retain some safety and yet get some yield in a really compressed environment with respect to interest rates, as an example. So we introduced this to give a bit of an option there. We're constantly tweaking and modifying the kind of product shelf, but overall what we tried to do is make sure it's a robust shelf that covers all the client needs and obviously meets with the expectations of our consultants.
Right. Now, one of the things that advisors appreciate most is being able to keep their compensation even in tough times, and you were one of the higher scoring firms in that area. Can you talk around that a little bit?
Well, that would be the fact we made no changes probably is the answer to that, and we stayed the course. When we develop compensation systems, we try to make sure that we don't do it just as a kind of a spur of the moment or reactionary to what's going on. We want them to be sustainable, set in motion and set in place and for the long term. And hence, when we went through kind of the market issues that we went through, as an example, we didn't reduce, we didn't modify the grid, we stayed the course. And I think the compensation, which is a blend of both cash comp and what we call near compensation, support services, credit dollars, things like that, it's actually robust, and I think it's weathered the storm of the last while very, very effectively.
Now, another important thing to mention maybe is that I think you were the only firm in the survey. Your advisors said they would recommend, 100% of them said they would recommend the firm to someone else in the industry, so that's nice. The ethics, I think you were among the highest scoring there.
Great.
Can you speak to those sorts of scores?
Sure. Referability, I mean, it almost starts when you think of a client. What kind of client do you want? You want a client that will refer their friends and family to the advisors, and what we try to encourage our advisors to do is look at what we have to offer, and where there's interested individuals in coming into the industry, make a point of referring them. But you earn the right to be referable, either as a consultant or as a firm as well. And so we don't take lightly our responsibilities to our clients. We don't take them lightly when it comes to our advisors. And as we talked about earlier, the structures that we put in place and that have maintained in place, that's part of why I think we're referable. That's really a fabric. I mean, you and I talked earlier about tone at the top and senior management involvement, and I attribute a lot of that to the tone at our very top, Murray Taylor, our CEO. He's lays claim to, I think, a strong ethical and principled background, and he encourages that in all of us. And frankly, it's been a part of the fabric of our organization. It's the kind of thing that you can't make up and you can't fake. And it's really a part of who we are as an organization.
Okay, now all that said, is there anything you guys are working on in the next year, something you guys have sort of targeted for improvement, areas like that?
Yeah, we're constantly working on our technology. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if I'm an advisor, what am I looking for? I'm looking for productivity. How do you help me do the things that I have to do more easily, more effectively, so I can be more spending time with my clients, spending time prospecting and developing my business. So the technology front is an area where we're continuing to evolve our offering there, trying to make it more efficient, easier for them to work with. As I mentioned earlier, we're constantly looking at our product shelf, making sure that it remains a sustainable one. As an example, the guaranteed minimum withdrawal benefit type of program now we just introduced. As the Canadians, the aging population, they're looking at, well, how do I move my way into retirement income, questions, and so we're making sure that we're there. And our financial planning ethic, it's something that we're really, we've always been a financial planning oriented firm, and we emphasize it, but now what we're doing is making sure that we don't let anyone take it for granted, because at the end of the day, if I'm an advisor working with a client, if everything's distilled down to the price of an MER, that's just not doing justice to an advisor working well with their client and providing value through advice and service. So we're really emphasizing those things, making sure people are well prepared to continue that.
Kevin, thanks very much for this.
Thank you, Gavin. Take care.
Thank you for tuning into IETV.